Thanks for tuning into my channel. I had a couple people ask me for videos of some different areas of Albuquerque, specific areas of Albuquerque. A couple of you asked me if I could do a video of the 87109 zip code. So I am on Wyoming Boulevard. I'm going south, and right now I'm currently in the 87109 zip code. And I'm going to take you down a couple of the main streets and some very different neighborhoods in the 87109. And I also had a few of you, I shouldn't say a few, a couple of you ask me if it's possible to live, how easy you can live in Albuquerque without having transportation. So it can be done. It's not, Albuquerque is not known for its foot traffic. It is spread out. There's a lot of strip malls, and unlike a lot of cities where you have the city center or downtown and they build the city around it, the homes around it, Albuquerque, there are some areas that are sort of like that, but not really. I don't think that was how they planned Albuquerque. So yes, you can get around without a car. Real quickly, this is Academy Boulevard. It is an east-west. Just wanted to let you know. So you can get around. It's not as easy as it might be in some of the bigger cities with a lot of transportation. Say, you know, like I know San Francisco has BART, and Oregon has their public transportation, and you know, New York has their subway, and so we do have buses. That's probably as good as it's going to get. And yes, you can do it because people do. So I am going to, anyway, if I pass any of those areas or those neighborhoods in Albuquerque where I think you could get by, I mean, of course, if you don't mind just waiting for a bus to come along to take you everywhere, I'm just thinking of areas maybe where you could walk to like a grocery store and maybe a library. Anyway, if I pass any of such neighborhoods as we're doing our 87109 tour, I'll let you know. So the light that we passed through, oops, sorry, I think it was Spain. Yes, it was Spain. This is Osuna. This is a fun and a pretty area of town over here. You have a combination of some older homes, and by older, I'm saying like maybe the 80s, 1970s and 80s, because when you get the border to the 87109 zip code is Montgomery, which is one light ahead of us here. The homes north of Montgomery, which is where we are right now, were built later on, after Albuquerque started growing. So anything, just about anything, that is south of Montgomery is going to be a little bit older. So this side really didn't take off until probably the 70s, mid to late 70s. Osuna was one of the, it was a long, long time ago. It used to be called Arroyo del Oso, but that was really a long time ago, probably in the 70s. Nice street though, some beautiful homes. So these neighborhoods along here to the right and left are some of the older neighborhoods. And I'm going to take you, once I get up here to Montgomery, I'll take you for a quick drive through some of those neighborhoods. But I want to get up here to Montgomery because it is going to be kind of a hub if you want to live in this neck of the woods. If you want to live in the 87109 zip code, you're going to rely heavily, well, depending on how, okay, there are going to be two main streets. There's going to be Paseo del Norte, and there's going to be Montgomery. You're going to rely on those two for all of your shopping, you know, like Target, Walmart, grocery stores, post office. You're going to rely heavily on these two east-west streets. Montgomery is the northernmost east-west street in the 87109 zip code, you're going to rely on Montgomery pretty heavily, much more than you would Paseo del Norte, because it's really, there's not as much. It's not as developed as Montgomery here. So this is Montgomery. I'm going to go west here on Montgomery. And like I tell you every single time, you always know which way you're going in Albuquerque, because if you see the mountains, which you don't see them right now, if you see the mountains, you know that you're going east. So right now we're going away from the mountains, so we're going west. Albuquerque is pretty clear cut like that. So I'm going to take one street down here. Like I said, these are going to be some older homes, much more affordable than when you start going north on Montgomery. The further north you go, the more expensive it's going to get, because that's where all the new development is. Anyway, this street is Brenda. Like I said, these are some older homes. So let's go up here on Monterey East Avenue. And there you see the mountains. So we're going east. These homes over here are probably from the mid to late 70s. And you probably could get into one of these in the 160s on up, depending on how much work the home needs. The more work it needs, the cheaper it's going to be. As I always say, get the ugliest home in the nicer neighborhood and you've got built-in equity. It's a decent neighborhood. A lot of people want newer homes, and these obviously are not newer homes. But it's a decent neighborhood. So this street is Bart. Let's take a right on Bart. We're going east again. Let's go down. This is Jennifer. We'll go down Jennifer. And the homes that you're seeing right now are very typical of Albuquerque. Very typical, with a stucco exterior, some pitched roofs, some flat roofs. If you have an opportunity to buy a pitched roof, do it. I'm not saying flat roofs are totally bad, but they leak a lot more frequently. They require a lot more maintenance, especially if they don't have, they're supposed to have a certain pitch. I forget what the degree, the angle is. And a lot of them don't. And so you develop sagging where the water stays, and you develop leaks and stuff like that. So otherwise, you know, just do a lot of maintenance on your roof, and if you keep it maintained, you're not going to get those leaks. So if you find a flat roof house you really love, don't not buy it because it's a flat roof. I mean, you know, some of them are really beautiful. So okay, so we're back to Bart. I'm going to take you down one more street, and then we're going to go back out to Montgomery, because I want to take you down Montgomery. I'm going to take you all the way down to San Mateo, because that's the westernmost border of the 109 zip code. Okay, so we'll turn here on Rhode Island. And another thing I might say, in the 87109 zip code, the further west you go, the older the homes get. So you can tell these are a little bit older than the ones we were just at. And these you probably can get in the 150s, 160s. And if you're really savvy and you buy a foreclosed home, you get in a lot cheaper than that. So, okay. So you saw that. This is Pennsylvania. It's a beautiful, Pennsylvania is a beautiful street. Over, if you go to the north side of Montgomery, there's a lot of condos and townhomes, as you can see right here. I don't know what these are called. If I can see, it says the Little Townhouse Homes. I think it's what that said. So we are on Pennsylvania going south. I'm trying to see what some of these apartment names here. I'm just not seeing them. And this is Montgomery, so we're back up to Montgomery, and I'm going to go west again, and I'm going to go all the way down to San Mateo. So one area that you could live and not have transportation definitely is San Mateo and Montgomery, because it's got apartments, it's got the grocery stores, it's got pretty much everything, and you've got the major hubs. San Mateo and Montgomery are both really busy city streets, so you're going to have lots of public transportation, and there's a lot of areas you can walk, so I don't think you'd have any trouble living without a car. Okay, Candlelight Square apartment homes, and these are Arioso. So anyway, in the San Mateo, Montgomery area, you could probably do pretty well there because you could walk to a lot of the services. And there's another church. This one is Montgomery Church of Christ. My son went there many years ago for their, they call them, I'm trying to remember what they call them now. It's been a few years since he's gone. They have them in the summertime, and they're usually just for a week or two. Anyway, they just have them like from 9 to 12 or from 8 to 12 for 2 weeks, just to kind of give parents a little cushion in the summertime so the kids have something to do. Bible camps is what they're called, if you're into that kind of thing. I mean, my son has always enjoyed just for all the fun activities. I don't think kids at that age are really, they learn a whole lot about the Bible. But anyway, they do learn something, I'm sure. So this street that we're going through right here is Louisiana. There's a laundromat there on the left-hand side. I don't know if you've got to see that or not. Sporting goods place. And like I said, Albuquerque is just loaded with strip malls. Sunset Point on the left-hand side is those apartments. This street is Marla, and there was a public park. Albuquerque's got, that's one thing I do love about Albuquerque is, I'm going to turn on Marla here, because the homes in through here are a little bit different. Albuquerque has a lot of public parks. Every neighborhood just about has its own park. They may not be huge, but if you live in Albuquerque, you're within walking distance of a park. So this is kind of a cool little nook neighborhood over here. I'm not sure I can really even venture a guess on what these homes go for in here, because I've never ever looked in this neighborhood. Even when I was a realtor, which was a long time ago, I don't think these homes were even built then, so I don't really know much about them. But they're cool looking. I think I took you in a neighborhood that looked a lot like this in one of my other videos, but it was off of Wyoming or Harper. I can't remember. Anyway. But these are cool. They look like either patio homes or, like, patio homes usually have an adjoining wall, or they're really close together. You don't have a lot of real estate, but if you work full-time, don't have a family, or do a lot of traveling with your job and you want low maintenance. Okay, the street we're on is Indian Springs, and now we're turning on Catson. So low maintenance may be for you. These are really cute. I don't get over to this end of town very much, so yeah, I like these. I think they're really cool. So you can look on a map and kind of, okay, now they changed. Now these are back to the typical Albuquerque home here. You can see the brick and stucco. Alright, so this street we're coming up on here I just wanted to take that little detour just to kind of give you show you a variety of homes here in the 109 zip code. Alright, this is San Pedro. I'm going to go back out to Montgomery because I want to take Montgomery all the way down. It's, like I said, it's going to be a hub. If you live over here, it's going to be one of the major streets you're going to need to connect to get services. San Pedro Village is the name of those. And I really can't tell you a whole lot about apartments because I haven't lived in an apartment pretty much most of my life. I haven't lived in an apartment, so I really can't tell you much about apartment living in Albuquerque. It's probably going to be the same no matter what part of the country you live in. Apartments are apartments. You have probably the same problems anywhere you go with apartments, or the same kind of great things anywhere you go, like a pool and a rec room and Wi-Fi and exercise room, stuff like that. So it just depends on how you look at it. There's Del Norte Baptist Church, and speaking of Del Norte, the high school in this area is Del Norte. It's coming up here on the right-hand side. I'm looking to see these apartments on the left of, looks like 5-story, 6-story, those are called towers, or the towers. Del Norte Nights. This is Del Norte High School on the right-hand side. It is the high school in the 109 zip code. It may not be the whole 109 zip code, but for this area of town I'm in, this is the high school. You have to look it up. Don't know that much about Del Norte High School. I don't think the ratings are perfect, but I think sometimes it is what you make it. You hear a lot of bad talk about the schools in Albuquerque, but there are some really good ones too. They get really good ratings. So this is a shopping center off to the left, and it's got Tuesday Morning, Burlington Coat Factory, the Baby Depot, Walgreens. It's got a ton of stuff. This whole area over here is lined with restaurants. There's a Goodwill over here. There are movie theaters off to the left. Long John Silver's here. You can get anything you want on this street, on San Mateo. Sweet Tomatoes is a great restaurant. Olive Garden is up here. It's a sewing and vacuum place, a furniture place, and up here is on the right is Putt Putt. Golden Corral is on the left. It's a restaurant. It's a buffet style restaurant. And I am on San Mateo, if I didn't already say that. I'm San Mateo going north. This is the border of the 87109 zip code. All kinds of fast food, anything you could possibly want. So I think and Cliff's Amusement Park is off to the left. That's really popular. It's got bumper cars and rides, scary rides, all kinds of stuff. It's a busy part of town. There's a lot of traffic over here. It seems to move fairly well. I used to live over here, and I never had any problems with traffic. That was a long time ago, but I don't think there's a lot. Albuquerque's busy. It gets congested around rush hour, but you get around. I'm going to take you up Osuna because it's a really cool street. I love the homes and the apartments along this street. We're going east now. So these are the Silverados on the left here. They're apartments. I had friends who used to live there. They liked it. And I'm just going to go a little ways up here because I want to turn and go back across Seagull Street. Because what happens here, if you're going up Osuna, is off to the left here. That's Osuna Apartments there. And the Rose is a really good Mexican food place. And then these apartments are Chateau Apartment Townhomes. Let me tell you these and then I want to finish my story. Maybe Chimney Ridge? That's what that sign said. Anyway, so the problem here is, well, it's a problem, just depends on how you look at it. This is Osuna, and as you can see, there's a golf course on the left-hand side. So you're going to have to go all the way up to Wyoming before you can cut across again. So if you live on anything north of here, you have to go either all the way down to San Mateo, from San Mateo up to Wyoming, or you cut across Seagull Street. That's why that street was important. That's why I'm going to go back to that. But I just wanted to show you. This is Arroyo del Oso Golf Course, I think is what it's called. And these homes on the right, kind of expensive, but you can, like I said, like anything, you can find a fixer. But I would love to live on this street. I love the homes in this, right in this vicinity. I really like them. So I'm just going to go up to this next stop sign here, and then I'm going to turn around and go back, because I want to go across Seagull Street, and I want to take you up Academy. Okay, so now we are back to Louisiana, and I'm going to turn around here and come back down Osuna. I'm going to turn on Louisiana. Turn back around. Louisiana, right here to Montgomery. From here south to Montgomery is beautiful. It's pretty past that too, but I love it in through here because there's lots of really big trees and pretty homes. So now you get to see Osuna from the other way. We're going to go west now on Osuna, so you get to see the golf course from the other way. If you're a golfer, you'll love it. It's big, well, to me all golf courses are big, but I lived on the other side of this golf course, and I used to find golf balls in my backyard all the time. Used to give them to my dad because he used to golf. Alright, so we're going west on Osuna. Just going to see what you saw before, but coming from the opposite direction. But Osuna is definitely a pretty street. And I think these neighborhoods off to the left were probably built in the 80s. Here we are back to San Pedro.